It was definitely a cultural shock to me when I saw the life in the academy because I had come from a totally different atmosphere. Hello everyone, this is Squadron leader Vinutha. I was commissioned in the Indian Air Force in the Aeronautical Engineering Electronics branch in July 2011, and after serving the mandatory period of 10 years for short service commission officers, I took a release in 2021 July. Post the tenure in Air Force, I took up a job in the state government of Karnataka as Deputy Director, Sainik Welfare and Resettlement. And presently, I resigned from my state government job because I cleared the UPSC Civil Services Examination 2024, and I'm waiting to join my training for the Indian Revenue Service Income Tax starting from December. And today I'm here to share my experiences in the Indian Air Force with you all. In my case, joining the Air Force was never in the plan. I never pictured myself in the uniform also. I was sort of an indoor girl, brought up indoors without much, exposure to sports or team games, etc. So I had never thought of military. What happened was when I was doing my post-graduation in IIT Delhi in 2010, Indian Air Force had come on campus for fast track selection. That scheme probably is discontinued today. So this scheme had an exemption for us from the AFCAT because they had handpicked these good colleges called nodal centers. So we were given exemption from AFCAT. A small test like picture perception test and group discussion was conducted. There I did well and I was shortlisted for SSB. So after this we appeared for the SSB probably a month later, and my SSB was in AFSB 4, that is Varanasi, and I cleared my SSB in the first attempt. SSB was completely similar to what you all probably face or have faced. The only change was in the exemption for AFCAT. So after the SSB had a medical exam, which also I cleared, and finally I got into the merit list. In my case, joining the Indian Air Force was definitely a sudden decision because I was doing my MTech from IIT Delhi, and I probably thought I'll go in the research line, doing PhD or joining research organizations like DRDO or something. When Air Force itself came on campus, compared to the job offer which I had in my hand, this was a better option, and I thought, let me take a break from this research because it was very hectic. I had joined MTech soon after my BTech or BE. So I went ahead and joined in Air Force. It was definitely a cultural shock to me when I saw the life in the academy because I had come from a totally different atmosphere. Not just the civilian to military transition, but also I had come from IIT where the stress was on, independent thinking, critical thinking, and the work was mostly indoors and working on projects, studying books. Now I came to this atmosphere where the stress was on outdoor activities, teamwork, team spirit, and the stress was entirely on discipline, obedience, timeliness, orderliness, and so on. So I didn't have many friends in the military, and none of my relatives, even the near relatives, or be it the far relatives, nobody was in the forces to guide me that this would be the kind of rigorous training that will be in the academy. I did face challenges in the outdoor activities, but I overcame my challenges through practice. And the trainers or coaches who conduct the outdoor activities provide you with sufficient training to get confidence. And I cleared my training along with my batchmates. I would say discipline, hard work, orderliness, and probably the communication skills which I have today. All this I've learned from Indian Air Force. Talking about orderliness and discipline. Orderliness is to set your room in order, your house in order, setting your day in order, have a proper plan about what you want to do today or next week or in your life in the long term. This helps, remove the clutter, separate the noise from information, and that makes your job and your life simple. So that has stuck with me, even, today. And discipline need not be, just about saying yes to superiors. Discipline is also, sticking to a goal. When you choose a goal, when you face temporary setbacks, or when you feel demotivated on certain days, you go back to it again and keep working at it consistently. I think my success in UPSC I owe in certain part to Indian Air Force, because when I faced failures in the initial attempts, what kept me going was the discipline and the resolve and a belief in myself, which I had got through the Indian Air Force. Yes, leadership in military is indeed different, because I've seen how it is when I worked with the state government in the Sainik Welfare Department. Uh, it's less of a team spirit and more of a one man or a individual, man performing or a woman performing. In the military, leadership is about taking the team along. And when you get success, the first thing a leader does in the military is to attribute that to his or her team first, which I didn't see much in the outside world. And the camaraderie, right? That also helped the bonding between probably superiors and subordinates, and they feel connected to each other, not just professionally but also emotionally. So taking the team along and attributing the success to the team, and when the team fails, the leader takes responsibility upon him or her. This is something which I've never seen outside till now. So that's one thing which I have learned from the Indian Air Force, and I like to apply the same in my career ahead. I would definitely say yes, discipline is something which is, very outrightly visible when you enter a military campus or when you think of your military days. However, discipline being the common factor, I would like to talk about the camaraderie. Camaraderie you'll not find of that level that you find in the military anywhere else. In the civil world, mostly in the weekends, people are off to their own lives and they don't want to be disturbed. It's a very individualistic kind of life. But in the military, it's, this group living and the, community, what is there of your unit, about your squadron, of your wing. You always feel attached or connected to it, and it is supposed to be that way because of the ultimate objective of having to work together, and you're driven by this emotion of devotion towards the nation. So camaraderie definitely is something I remember and I miss also. The bonhomie which you develop in the military with superiors and subordinates, it's something which you will not find anywhere else, and I definitely cherish those days. If I have to sum up my journey in the Indian Air Force in one word, it would be a complete transformation of my personality. What I am today, I owe a large part of it to the Indian Air Force and my experiences I had with the people and the work in the Indian Air Force. And I'm not the same person what I was in 2011 when I entered the Indian Air Force. And I've changed for better, much, much better. It has given me the confidence, the communication skills, and a lot of knowledge, a lot of leadership experience and lessons learned, and all round exposure to everything, be it outdoor activities, be it welfare of subordinates and their families. It has given me a 360-degree experience in many domains. I think this kind of enriching experience and personality transformation you would not find in any other organization. I would say yes, initially you regret that you had to leave the forces for whatever reason, and you really miss your uniform and the work, the people around you. However, I had a plan ahead. I had to study for my upcoming exams. So that kept me busy, and probably that helped me, get over the regret that I had of hanging my uniform. Yes. I would say the leadership lessons that I learned and the experience that I gained for 10 years in the Indian Air Force, that is the most valuable lesson I've learned from the Indian Air Force. And I'm going to enter the Indian Revenue Service as a civil servant, where again my job would require me to communicate with, my team, take my team along, and the domain of operation would be much larger compared to what I was doing in the Indian Air Force. I think the leadership lessons that I learned while I was in the Indian Air Force will help me immensely in my journey ahead. Well, I would say yes and no. Yes, because I had decided to enter civil services, so I took up my release after 10 years. However, the doubt came in the form of, when will I be successful in the civil services exam? Because what I studied and worked on in the Indian Air Force was a little different from what the UPSC civil service exam demands, except for the leadership and the field level, exposure part. That definitely helps you. I'm talking about the examination. So yes, there was this doubt that will I be able to do it? However, the discipline, what I had learned from the Indian Air Force, and the capacity to persevere, to have patience, to overcome setbacks, that is what helped me a lot in my journey in UPSC. So when I failed in multiple attempts, what kept me going was that confidence in myself that I gained only and only because of my work and experiences in the Indian Air Force. I would say the kind of opportunities and challenges and exposure and experiences and the personality improvement or enrichment which this service provides, you can probably find it nowhere else. And you should always look at it as a service, not just as a career, and always focus on what you can contribute and what you can do for the nation, rather than focusing on what you will get from the job. Apart from the personality enrichment part, which definitely I can assure that you're going to get, you should not be focusing on what you're going to get from this job. I think the focus itself should be what I can do and how I can contribute to the service of my nation. So that's my message to you all. I hope you all get selected into the Indian Air Force and get an opportunity to serve in this noble organization. Jai Hind.